Hello everyone, CD Racing here, and welcome back for episode 8 of our Rallycross Career Mode playthrough. Now, before we get into this episode, quick channel update / announcement / rant session. If you do not care to hear about me ranting about the channel or the direction that it's going to be taking here soon, and you just want to see me send it around a Rallycross track, skip to this timestamp. I'm not an ass. I'll let you watch what you came here to see. But if you want to stay tuned for a little bit of insight, maybe some heart-to-heart about what's going on this channel, stick around. All right, so decision time, y'all. You guys, as the audience, are going to make a decision based in the continuation of series on this channel. For those of you that know, I make a lot of Dirt Rally 2 content. I've got the No Commentary series, the Stage Rally series, the Rallycross series, and recently the Colin McRae series, although I've only done 2 episodes on that. It's becoming quite a bit, and as of recently, views aren't as fantastic on some of the videos that I'd like. Some of my shorts and some of my videos still do the view counts that we expect to see around here, and some of them have done much better. But it is time to drop one. I'm sorry, but schoolwork is becoming very difficult. I don't want to rant or try to play the victim on how hard cybersecurity is, but it's tough, and managing that and a relationship and all 4 of these series on the channel has become quite a bit. And I'd like to drop one of the series to give me more time to push out content more consistently, less gaps in between the videos. I think the gaps in between my last 2 career mode videos were almost 3 weeks, which is just crazy. So we're dropping it, but I'm going to let y'all decide which one you do not want to see. And if we're going strictly based off of views, I'm going to assume that this might be the last Rallycross series that we do on this channel. And not many people comment when I say that this is an audience's choice. So if you're still watching and you like the Rallycross series and you're like, man, I don't care about Colin McRae, or man, Stage Rally just isn't for me, let me know in the comments, because if only one person comments, that's what we're going with, because that is the community, right? So let me know down below, which series are you okay with not seeing as much anymore? Whichever comment, if there are different ones, gets the most likes is the series that we will be dropping. But in dropping that, there is good news. I'm not just bailing, yo. We are dropping things for a good reason. Everything happens for a reason. And I want to start pushing out new content on this channel. We are creeping up on 100 subs and 50 vids on the channel, and that's awesome. I only started this a couple months ago, and to be this close to 150 videos already is kind of insane, visualizing it. But I want to branch out a little bit. There's a fantastic game out right now that I believe, honestly, is still technically in alpha. It's not even in beta yet, but it is fantastic. For those of y'all that have never heard of Night Runners, it is a fantastic racing game being developed by one man. It's set in the 90s in Japan, and it's basically the Midnight Club games, but better, in the sense of it is the literal Midnight Club. You are the rich people in Japan racing on the highways at night, just not caring, just sending it. It's got vintage VHS graphics, and I love a custom art style. Maximum realism gets boring after a while, and this game is fantastic. Customization is through the roof. It's illegal street racing at night. There are going to be cops and parking garages on full release, and if that game sounds interesting to y'all, I'll start pumping that on the channel. Videos for that game will not be hard to make at all, and I think it's awesome. And coming soon, confirmed, F1 25. I will be pre-ordering that game. I want to play it 3 days early. I want to pump out content as soon as I can for y'all. So, not letting y'all vote on that one. I wanted to play that game anyways. It's coming to the channel. But if you guys want to see Night Runners, please let me know. And remember, let me know which video you want to drop or series you want to drop from the channel so that I can get a little bit better stuff out. Because if I'm going to let you guys in on a surprise, this is your gift for listening to this entire rant. There's a little special video coming out for the 50th. It's a big video. I've been putting a lot of time into it. I'm still very new to editing, so it's probably not going to be anything fantastic, but it's definitely going to be, in my opinion, the best video we have ever put out on this channel, hands down, without a doubt. So look forward to that. Video number 50 is going to be a big one. All of you guys that are watching this right now are the Centurion Club, and I hope you realize that. You guys are here before 100 subs from the very beginning. I'm keeping a list of all of my subscribers, and if we ever blow up to the point where we're making merch or doing some sort of awesome community thing, you guys are the first on the list for involvement and free stuff. Don't want to curse, but I appreciate you guys for sticking in. And without further ado, let's get into the video, huh? All right, so last episode out in our Rallycross series was the final race of our Cross Kart Career Mode, and we did fantastic, not gonna lie. If you didn't catch that video, why? But anyways, we did achieve fastest in North America in next episode. So going into this season, big things on the agenda. Tougher opponents, new car, Ford Fiesta Supercar Lites, 310 horsepower, less than 2,500 pounds, 6-speed sequential, but the big kicker, all-wheel drive. We're finally getting into the big boys, albeit with half the horsepower of the supercars. This thing is still quick, and you're going to find out very quick. As always, you guys are choosing the livery down in the comments, but for the first episode, we're going to see which one I go ahead and stick with, if any of them particularly do the opposite of grind my gears. Wow, I totally forgot what to say there. And off the rip, this Dirt Rally Plus livery looks pretty sick. I'm going to keep this one on, but if you guys like another one, of course, let me know down below. And let's load into our first race weekend in our new cars. I'll see you there. All right, so track 1 in France, new season, new car, and honestly, last couple seasons have been snooze fest. Competition has not been fantastic, but this weekend it is raining, and we are hoping for the best. A little foreshadowing of what's to come this weekend. We might actually find ourselves being punished for mistakes, but I don't want to ruin too much.
Use the Joker lap to your advantage. You only need to take it once. If you miss it, you'll get a time penalty.
All right, so practice in the new car, in the new whip. How does it go? Decently well. We're going to go ahead and keep this footage in just so you guys can get a sense for the new car. Holding the revs ready for the launch. Light goes green. We're not going for a crazy competitive launch, and look at the grip we have. Even in the rain, this car just flying through the gears off the rip. Look how quickly we're going to find ourselves into 6th gear. Going around this first corner, and yeah, so we got a little used to the rear-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive requires a different level of finesse. You see oversteering like that. You want to get back on the gas and just slam it, kind of like this, counter-steering, use minimal steering input, kind of try your best to steer the car with your feet. If you haven't tried driving at a high level or competitively, that probably makes 0 sense. And if you see the way I'm driving right now, you might think I think the same way, but I do understand how weight transfer and driving with your feet affects the car, especially in all-wheel drive, low grip scenarios. And we're going to try and get used to that here in our first practice session. Rounding out the first lap, it was one of the laps of all time, that's for sure. Going into lap 2, I'm trying to do better than a 52 with the Joker. We're going to see what happens. And this is one of those tracks where, honestly, if you don't continue to oversteer and turn one like I've been doing right now, the Joker lap, if you hit it correctly, especially in the supercars, can be faster than the regular lap in the sense of racing. I believe this outside line that we're taking right now, you're maintaining speed the entire time. You don't have to slow down for that chicane. But on the inside for the Joker lap, you have the inside line. You know, on the merge right here, you come out on the inside, you are within your rights to just absolutely slam the door on the car on the outside of the Joker lap, which we may or may not use this weekend. I wish that was me being cheeky and trying to foreshadow, but I genuinely do not remember. So we're going to see what happens when we get there. Seeing if we can nail turn 1 without oversteering the car this time. Minimal turning angle on the way in, already in 5th gear, keeping the grip throughout the corner. We finally get decent entry into turn 1, and we're going to try another Joker lap. See what a real Joker lap looks like now that we found some decent pace in the car, over the hump, let off the gas, and then try not to oversteer through the chicane. It's very, very slippery in the rain here, even with the all-wheel drive car. We're having to be a little tentative on the gas pedal, slowing down for the first corner entry, and it seems like getting to know the car, oversteer on entry is very prominent. Now, is that something that I could fix by tuning the car? Absolutely. Am I going to do that over the course of this video? Absolutely not. I don't got time for that. We drive the car as it is. That's the engineer's job. Truth be told, I am still trying to get a little bit better at tuning. I'll do it a little bit later in these career mode videos if they stay. But for now, just getting used to the car and what it is as a whole. And we don't have to finish out the rest of this practice session because as you can see now, besides that little left tap of the wall, we're getting a little used to the car. Obviously, we're not experts, but it's the first race weekend, and we want to get into it. So let's go ahead and cut to the first actual qualifying session and see how we do as we cross with a 36.75, end it with a little bit of a drift, and I will see y'all on the line. All right, so loading in, you see the grid in front of us. Let's go ahead and inch into our spot with the entire pack. Starting dead in the center, in my opinion, the worst place to start in Rallycross. You're kind of sandwiched in between everyone on the outsides, but we'll see how we get away here. We know the AI typically gets a better launch than us, but now that we're in the all-wheel drive, maybe we'll have that little bit of crutch, see what happens. Lights go up, and so do the revs, and let's see what happens if the lights go out. Green lights go down. Very slow reaction time, if we're being completely honest with us, but we get into second place going into turn 1, and that sandwich happens immediately. Thankfully, no pit maneuvers to be seen just yet. Going into turn 1, very cautious on the gas, not wanting to oversteer like I did in practice, and finding our line, diving into the hairpin into turn 2. Keeping our line on the inside here, holding our third place strong, and we've decided to opt for the Joker first lap. Get out of the traffic, get the business out of the way early. Just find your pace afterwards and hope that it works out for us. So in the Joker, watching for the oversteer, you see it get a little crazy. This car is all-wheel drive, but it feels like 80% rear-wheel drive. I don't remember if I checked the diff or not, but it was interesting driving this car. Going to the end of turn 1, getting out of our Joker, still P3, and up the inside, I find a gap to take 2 in one corner, and just like that, we have now Jokered and are in true first position. So off to the start, it looks like we are in a great position early. Now, we don't know the competition of these cars. This is a new difficulty for us. We don't know if we're racing the worst people this weekend, but a first place means that we're not the slowest. So continuing on to lap 2 here, we're going to take our first regular lap at race pace. Watch the oversteer, catch it, kind of be easy on the throttle. You hear me let off a couple times. And that's actually a perfect point for me to bring this up. For those of you that have trouble correcting your car in all-wheel drive situations, I'm not going to act like I'm the messiah of this principle, but ideally, you want to keep steering input to a minimum. You see right here, my initial turn-in was too much. I oversteered the car, I spun out. What I should do is enter at a respectable angle and steer the car with my feet. If I'm oversteering, let off. If I'm understeering, power on. Or maybe I said that backwards. It's been a long day, but you guys get the principle. Going in here, lap 3, down a position because of our mistake here, and we're going to see if we can lock back in here. Hard on the brakes into 5th gear. Find your line with grip. It's hard to do. You see it is just a torrential downpour right now, and it shows. In the sim, the lack of grip was very apparent. Even though this is a light wheel drive this is a light all-wheel drive car, the grip is not there. You see me understeering all over the place, still getting used to the car in itself too. So these are not the conditions to be testing for, but you know, diamonds are formed under pressure, right? So maybe that's what's going to happen here. Crazy defense tactic from A. Johnson in front of us. Movement under braking as apparently his go-to. That was an insane lunge to the outside under braking. A little bit of contact there. He's going to take his Joker. We knew we had to the entire time. We're really sweating it too much. Is it going to be close on the Joker exit? It looks like it is not, and this will most likely be a first place in Heat 1. Not a massive gap, though. Not the gap that we're used to. The competition looks like it's stacking up just a little bit as we cross the line for a 241.6. How does it look inside the car? Content. Thumbs up. There we go. That's a little bit better than content. We're going to see how we actually placed right now. First in our heat, of course, and how did we do overall compared to everyone else? That is the real question. You see, 6th place. Finally! That's what we like to see, huh? Spin out in the middle of the stage, actually face consequences for it. Now we're going to see if we can make it to the semifinal, because I know we've been dominating so much in these earlier episodes, it may be easy to forget that you can get axed from the weekend if you don't qualify. Only the top 12 out of 20 make it, so 8 drivers are going to get axed. We hope that is not us. And as you can see, minimal damage at the end of the first race. A little damage to the wheel geometry problem from that small collision, but we're going to go ahead and load into the second race and see if we can keep our form and try to win this one. All right, so looking at the grid, is it packed this time through? We don't know, but we know we're starting in a better position, that's for sure. Right-hand side of the track, got the inside line at a turn 1. Look for a good launch, hold your line, hold first place, and win is the formula. Let's see how that works out for us as the race goes forward. Lights go up and so do the revs. We're going to hold it at our happy place, and we have a jump start. Looks good for us. D. Blomqvist. That is one of the last names of all time, but he did jump to start, meaning that's one less person we have to worry about realistically. Yes, Spotter says that there he will have to take 2 Jokers. So on this track, not as big a damper as others, but still definitely not ideal. You're off the racing line, you have to merge twice. We're going to hold the revs, wait for the lights to go green, and there they go. Pretty solid reaction times and launch from us, and it looks like we are clear of everyone going into turn 1. Hard on the brakes, hold our line. On the inside, or on the outside, and from behind, we face contact. It unsettles the car. You see us fighting with the car right now. I'm not that bad of a driver. We were getting contact from the rear that entire time. Pause. Also, going into the Joker here, get a little bit of the handbrake to get us turned in, grab too much, hit some poles on the inside, but we're going to go ahead and power out anyways. Just get the Joker done first lap every time if it's possible. Unless you're in like a very, very niche scenario where you want to stay with the traffic, I like to get the Joker out of the way as soon as possible. You see me looking to the left to look for a car. It's hard to see through the rain on our window, but we do take advantage of Mr. Nooner going way too wide into that last turn and catch that inside line, get the overtake on track, and now once again we find ourselves in first position, having already jokered. So we are off to a strong start here in qualifying 2, halfway through. Let's see what happens as we now only have to focus on our racing line for the regular drive for the rest of the race. You know, going over the hairpin here, a little bit of low speed, but the rain is very intimidating. Still getting used to the car. We're going to see what we do slotting in here for the high-speed right-hander coming into the hard dirt chicane. See what happens here. Get in a straight line before you brake hard on the brakes into third gear and then swing it around for this, albeit relatively distant chicane. We're not going as fast by most racing standards, but it's still a pretty open chicane. As we go back into the lap 3 here, 36.4 is the first lap that I have paid attention to, so we're going to hope that that's our fastest for the weekend. But lap 3, already looking a little bit better. Using a lot of the track there in the tarmac section. I haven't mentioned it much this weekend as much as other weekends, but surface changes here in France, not that dramatic. You have this one very, very large dirt section at high speed and the one little section right after turn 1, and that's about it. Other than that, the surface changes are very predictable. Right back on the tarmac, you've got all of the grip. Even in the rain, it's a lot more than you'd expect, so just something you have to get used to, and you hold your normal racing lines. 36.5, a little bit slower than the last lap. See if we can improve on the last one as we come into the tarmac section right here. Again, high speed the entire time, just all the way pedal to the metal into 6th gear, hard on the brakes for the very tight right-hander, power out as soon as you know you've made it, just like that, all the way up into 6th gear. Most likely we're going to go hard on the brakes in just a second here. Watch our inside line, there it is, hard on the brakes in a straight line into 5th, got off the brakes while I was still turning, and it kind of upset the car. A little bit of oversteer there. You want to avoid that if possible. You're losing a lot of time when you're fighting the car like that, and this last one will most likely not be the quickest one we've set, but we're going to see what happens. And I believe it was. I kind of flashed a bit. That might have been our first 35, and that is a significantly faster time for us. 2:32 up on the board. That feels like a win overall to me. It's a 10-second gap to second place in this particular heat, and overall, yes, just around a 7-second gap to second place there. T. Schmidt holding it down in second place. That is a first place. That looks very good for us in the overall scheme of things, and let's see how we feel in the standings. So, I know we're still getting used to the car, but 3,500th in the world? Unacceptable. We're going to push for a little bit harder than that. I have a feeling this season we're actually going to have to give a little bit of focus and thought to the AI, but you know, you can't beat everyone if you're not going fast anyways, right? So that's what we're going to aim for here, obviously. Looking over the course of the weekend, no damage to the car in that last race, loading straight into qualifier 3 here, and let's see if we have any interesting events. Look over the left-hand side there. I don't know if y'all caught that. That car is messed up. I don't know who that is, but their weekend is tough, and we're going to hope that we can hit another solid launch here in qualifying 3. Get ready. The lights go up, and so do the revs, and we're going to hold them until it's time to jet. Get ready to go. Lights go down. Green means go. Drop the handbrake. Launch the car. You see me looking to the left to get a gauge on my competition, and it looks like once again we have a little bit of free real estate on the left side until they dive bomb up the inside. I wanted to hold that inside line, and they took that to keep their momentum and gain a position on me. Very solid racing from the people in front of us. T. Schmidt holding it down in first place for just a second there. We're going to go along the outside looking for the outside move, but we get a little bit of understeer in the rain, and it looks like it affected Schmidt as well as we come out side by side. I'm going to go ahead and slot in front of him here in this high-speed dirt section. Quick little tap with the brakes into 5th gear. Hold your line around this high-speed dirt section, and then hard on the brakes in a straight line into the big chicane, getting ready to end out this first lap in first place. And those are the situations that I'm talking about where the Joker is not feasible. I had the outside line. I was actively racing someone to lose momentum, cut throttle, and cut to the inside to hopefully make that Joker and not get T-boned in the process. Not worth it. These are the decisions you have to think about when you're racing, and that's exactly what was going through my head right there. But now, open air in front of us, free space, free entry into the Joker is what we should have done. But once again, getting too overzealous on the handbrake grab, going into the Joker and oversteering like crazy. Luckily, he kept it out of the wall, but losing so much time. You see the people in front of us right there just soaring into the distance at the end of this Joker. Now we have the inside line to give us a little bit of an advantage. Again, oversteer on the exit. And we're going to slot in right here in the big chicane in third place, having jokered. So ideally, right here, keep as close to these cars in front of you as you can without jeopardizing your own race, because you know they have to joker. Realistically, that joker delta, as our spotter has said, is about 0.8 of a second. We are less than 0.8 behind these cars, especially if we pass them on track just like that. Kay Jensen, I know we had that meme in the beginning, but a little bit of an untimely mistake there in turn 2, going wide, losing momentum. We're just going to slot and take that opportunity every time. But now for T. Schmidt, who is in front of us by almost 2 seconds. This car in front of us is not T. Schmidt. I don't know who this imposter is, but he's taking up space on the track. So we got to get rid of him ideally. Inside line, we're going to hold it around that final corner right there into the opening lap using all of the track. Cut in, find your inside apex right there, power out, heavy on the gas, and again, indecisive lines from the AI in this early section. You see me hitting the brakes to have to avoid them. They just don't like the slow and fast out method. We're going to dive bomb on the inside, get rid of this guy. And of course, as you can see, still in second place as T. Schmidt goes in for his Joker. Big exit on the outside here. This is the final lap. Whoever comes out ahead of this Joker will most likely win this qualifier. We're going to go ahead and look to our right here. We do not see him on the exit. Hold our line. You see the arrow behind us. We're going to oversteer on the exit, and Schmidt is going to take the inside line. There's nothing we can do at this point to get this race back. And that right there, it might be the first instance of us being genuinely punished on track for a mistake. I mean, that was clear as day. Understeer, overcorrected, caused me to shoot to the outside of the ideal racing line, and Schmidt just ate that opportunity of finishing right in front of me, and that's actually only good for a 5th place overall. Obviously, I did spin out there, so drivers in the other heats having a little bit easier time navigating the traffic, and we only bring the 5th place points haul there, so not ideal. But what was ideal was our performance in qualifier 4. As you can see, we're going to skip that one footage-wise, but here are the results. I won by almost 3 seconds, kind of just led the entire race, so I figured there's really no reason to keep it in. Here are the results from everybody else. Kay Jensen, right behind us in the second heat, actually 0.3 behind us overall on time, so he was right behind us in that race. And over the weekend, only 4 points separate us, but we do end up coming away with the maximum amount of points. We're going to load into the semifinal, hopefully finishing top 3, paving a way into the final and getting a better result. And as you can see, time-wise, we are still trash. 3,565th in the world. We got to do better than that. Loading into the semifinal, 6 drivers race for position. The top 3 drivers will enter the final. It's no longer about times, y'all. Fighting for position, 6 laps to go. Competition has been stepping up. We've had a couple slip-ups, a couple spin-outs, so we're going to hope that we don't do that when it matters most. Loading into the semifinal, let's just hope for a smooth race, finish top 3, move on to the final. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can see some of the cars on the grid already have some battle damage. Not us, though. We spent a lot of money to make sure our car looks pristine at all times. It's an expensive hobby, but it's one we're going to keep. And now, as the lights go up, so do the revs. Hold them hard. You know that we have the best starting position on the grid, starting in first place. So, very long hold. Lights go green. Drop that handbrake. Send it into the first corner. Very clear track on our left-hand side. We're going to brake early, hold the inside line. Hope we don't get rear-ended too hard. And just like that, it looks like we have a clean getaway into turn 1. You see the arrow right behind us. The competition is behind us, and the pack is condensed. You saw that timing board light up on the right-hand side. We're going to grab handbrake in the rain, just shoot us into this little Joker entry, and now into the Joker chicane. We're going to hope no contact with the walls, getting a little close to that right-hand side, catching oversteer on the turn-in, and still actively fighting with the car. This thing in the rain is so unpredictable once you lose that traction. We were fighting with it for a second there, but it looks like we got away scot-free. Now, only 2 of us have jokered at this moment, but I have jokered and have true track position, but I'm not going to get too confident just yet because I have spun out through no fault but my own multiple times this weekend. So this race is most likely far from over. Going into lap 2, this is going to be our first regular lap. Hard braking into this hard right-hander. Power out as soon as you can. Get on the gas early. You want to be in 6th gear by the time you hit the dirt here, and you're just going to lock it in as soon as you can. Hard on the brakes, and this was kind of a bad line by me. Ideally, you want to apex as late as possible. Swing it wide, and then apex as late as possible so you can have the easiest way to brake in a straight line coming into that chicane that we just left out of. And then coming into right here, pause. We've got turn 1. We're going to turn it in. on the tarmac sector. Watch for the oversteer right here. You see I want minimal turning angle. Steer the car with your feet when applicable. And now, once again, hard on the brakes into turn 1. And it's going to be like clockwork at this point until we oversteer a little bit. Had to catch that. Catching up on the race behind us. 3 of our competition have now jokered. However, the ones directly behind us, 2nd and 3rd place, have not jokered. And the gap looks to be quite substantial. We'll probably get an update here in a couple seconds. But it looks like we have this in the bag at the moment. Coming into the end of lap 4, we have a 35.73 at the end of lap 5, which I believe is our best lap of the weekend. So now we can check those leaderboards and maybe our feelings will not be as hurt. But I'm always pushing here. You see me starting to use a little bit more of the track, starting to get used to the car as well. I will say, getting thrown into the rain my first weekend of this thing was a test. That sudden lack of grip that you get is definitely going to catch you off guard. Like right here, you see I kept the grip pretty much the entire time, easy to fight the car. But those situations where it starts to oversteer really quickly, it gets really sketchy. Very easy to overcorrect the car right now. I'm just kind of pushing the limits of the grip, and then right there, pretty violent snap of oversteer. Improving our lap once again though. 35.479 is now our best lap of the weekend. I'm pretty confident of that. Again, oversteer on that high-speed turn 1 sector. I really think the ideal way is to just minimize steering angle at all times through that corner. Now, I could be wrong. There could be a faster way, but I found the easiest way was to send it in with your initial angle and then just hold it as well as you can. Because you see right there, as soon as I get fancy with the steering mid-corner, the car does not like that. It really prefers that you hold your hands in the same place and just adjust your throttle input. And as you see right now, except for when I fought the wheel on that exit of that corner, that was a lot smoother. And then going into turn 1 here, we'll see if I practice what I preach. Find your turn-in angle, minimal adjustment on the wheel while I stayed pinned. Could have been better. In the back, V. Peterson temporarily lost 4th place, but they still have not jokered. 2nd and 3rd place have to joker this lap. They have no choice. So I will not be surprised if we see some movement in the order towards the end of this race. Now, from our perspective, once again, quite the boring race. Left this one in because it was the semifinal. The stakes are high, but a little bit of a snooze fest on our end, not going to lie. Very easygoing race for us. We're going to cross the line one more time. Did not improve on our fastest lap, but let's see how everyone else did. We're going to see who our competition is in the final, and we have made it through our first weekend. We could be in for maximum point haul. We qualified first. That's first in the semifinal. Let's see how everyone else finished and get ourselves ready for the final, huh? And no, Kay Jensen lost? All of that hype for you to finish 4th? Oh my. Man, you can't have anything, huh? I don't even know who any of these people are. I've never seen any of these names in my life. This is a fraud. We're going to check the leaderboard, and only moving it to 3,000, only jumping 500 places. I know that sounds crazy, but we're still behind 3,000 people, so 500 to me is nothing. We got to climb those ranks. And I will say, in case any of you are trying to defend me and you're like, oh, well, come on, man, it's raining. Does not matter. Dirt Rally tracks times differently for different weather settings, so it's either raining or it's not. So the times that I'm looking at are for the rain, not for the tarmac. So I'm still washed. Trust. Gearbox damage coming in. Not really sure from where, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe it's just gradual over time. I know these sequential transmissions can be hard on the cars, especially now that we're driving cars that have like an actual engine, you know, not some 1.5 liter, like 80 feet-pounds of torque. No, we got a big boy engine now. We're really putting damage on these transmissions, and loading into the final, we got to lock in. This is the big one. Lights go up and so are the revs. We're going to hold the revs in our happy place and just get ready. Their early green light, probably the quickest they've ever launched us, trying to catch us off guard. Didn't work too well in their favor. We're going into turn 1, contact in the rear once again going into turn 1, gets squirrely onto the outside dirt that turns into the inside going into turn 2, and once again contact on the rear. Trying not to cut people off blatantly, but I got to keep my momentum and not just send it off the track. Grabbing handbrake into turn 1, we decided to just joker straight off the bat. We don't like the traffic. We're going to get it out of the way as soon as possible. Going into the chicane, if we can come out of the chicane in first place, we are setting ourselves up for a great race. A lot of oversteer there. Corrected it decently with throttle. And we're going to catch it on the dirt on the outside, and just like that, a move is made into turn 1. And we actually lose 2 positions. You see, we're still fighting with someone on the outside. Contact comes in, shooting us to the inside. We catch it decently well enough once again, but now in third place. We have jokered. We have the advantage. If we play it smart and just keep the gap to a minimum, we will most likely pass these guys not on track. But if we can get a pass, we will definitely do it. And we see space on the inside, dive bombing hard on the brakes, grab some handbrake to get you turned in, and we did not see the car on the outside. Lapse of judgment. We forgot about the car on the outside when we grabbed that handbrake, and we get spun out into the dirt. Now, in 5th place, having that joker, quite the higher mountain to climb, I will say that. Coming into lap 2, towards the end, find that late apex, straighten yourself out, hard on the brakes with minimal angle, and turn yourself in for this wide corkscrew, hard on the brakes once again, into 2nd, and cutting in from the outside. I have no idea what kind of experimental racing line E-Mars was taking, but that is trash. Tell them to never try that again, because that almost cost both of us way more than a little collision there. Now, going into turn 1 once again in 3rd place, only behind someone who has not jokered. That is one person, and on track. Terrible exit from A. Johnson. We're just going to shoot right past him on track, and that looks like our error from earlier has already negated itself. Is going into this corner on the corkscrew, or the hairpin, or, oh my lord, chicane. There's the right word. Getting another move on the outside as I fumble for the words, and it seems like our mistakes very quickly have fixed themselves. So, off to a fantastic start this weekend. Now, the race is not over. We could still spin out again and lose places as I get very wide into the dirt. Lots of understeer in turn 2 right there. Probably just came in too hot. Apparently thought about a different choker the way that I grabbed handbrake going into that corner, but we are chugging along towards the end of our first weekend in the Rallycross Lites, I think is what they're called. I should know. I started recording this episode like an hour ago, but my short-term memory is hooked, y'all. Think doom scrolling has doomed this generation because sometimes I forget what I ate for breakfast 30 minutes after I ate breakfast. I'm concerned. But on a less serious societal note, I am hooning this car right now, moving, trying to get as fast a lap as possible. I've got 2 left to try and improve, really set some damage, and that's what I had in mind right here. I said, all right, we've got 2 laps, we're winning. What a better way to confirm first place than to drive as fast as possible. I don't know why racers haven't thought of this before, but if you just drive as fast as you can, you won't lose, right? I mean, flawless logic from CD Racing here. I'm a racing philosopher. Going into the end of lap 5, this one didn't feel particularly fast. I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't even in the 35s. And yeah, 38.16. That was a crawling lap from us. We're going to see if the final lap of the weekend is something more redeeming. Grabbing a lot of speed into turn 2, trying to test the track limits, grabbing handbrake into turn 3. Quite the exit and entry there. We're keeping a lot of momentum going into this one right here, into 6th gear. We're going to get hard on the brakes, 5th gear, look for your late apex, power on the gas early, and then brake hard on a straight line into 3rd gear, hard on the gas. One more time, you got this long turn, test your patience, and once you know you've made it, floor it out, use all of the track. And I don't know if that last lap was faster, so if I do end up checking the leaderboards, it'll be like a little surprise for both of us. Are we going to be disappointed, or are we going to be elated? It looks like Keanu had a good time, as we obviously won the final. Fantastic lap from us, and lap 6 was only a 35.9. We did not improve on our fastest of the weekend, but we did come away from the weekend with maximum points. I checked the leaderboard real time, but we know we are washed, and I wanted to showcase something to y'all. I'll probably cut to the footage, but let's go ahead and look at that incident, that accident that happened on track early into the race, lap 2. I'll go ahead and cut to it right now. All right, so this is going into lap 2. You see, I am in 3rd place. I got passed on the exit of the Joker. A little bit of understeer from us going into the chicane. And now, fighting for position. I am behind these 2 guys, looking for my opportunity. They take this a little bit slower than I do. I find space on the inside, dive bomb, assert my position, make that pass, handbrake with the intention of cutting him off, completely forgetting about the 2nd car on the outside. He catches the inside left of me as I swung with right momentum, and it kind of just pendulum effects, knocks me back into the dirt. Obviously not ideal. Wanted to showcase that. To show you have to be aware of your position on track at all times. You see right there, if I had been more aggressively to the right side of the track, I could have hit the guy leaving his Joker. Now I didn't, but that is something you have to look out for whenever you are racing. Wanted to showcase that. You know, we're all about learning here. Yeah, we like to race for fun and to learn and get better, but if you want to learn and get better, you got to acknowledge your mistakes, talking about them a little quick. So that is what we went through right there, and that is a victory in the event. Technically a perfect weekend from us. First qualifier, finished first in the semifinal, first in the final. That's 30 points. An 8-point gap at the end of the first weekend is big for us, and 61,000 bones into our pockets is even bigger. That's upgrades, people. Upgrades. Speaking of, engine mapping 2 unlocked, ready to go. So the car is only going to get faster for us. Hopefully, a little bit more challenge next time out because it is a track we have never been to. Victory in France leads us to Spain. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, very famous Formula 1 track, produces some of the most boring races ever. But that is besides the point. First place overall, championship recap. There's only one to look at, first place overall. And I know I hyped up Kay Jensen, but 5th place, come on, making me look bad. But very good weekend from us, and that is going to be the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. And if you like the content, make sure to follow that like and subscribe combo. And if you watch the intro, please vote down below in the comments. Let me hear your piece. Let me hear your thoughts about what we're going to do with this channel videos wise. And of course, I will catch y'all in the next one.